What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. It's watch list time ahead of game week 12. So I've got 3 new players to add to the list. Quite big hitters in some cases as well. And some of these players people are selling right now or looking to maybe take them out to fund bigger moves. And I'm trying to figure out how to bring them in. So it's an interesting time in FPL right now. So if you are enjoying the watch list series this season, please do give it a like. Hit subscribe if you're new around here, and let's jump into the first player. So Robertson up first, and this is one of those players that I'm talking about. We're at a bit of a strange point in FPL where there are so many options, and this week has shown that, right? Salah, De Bruyne, Sterling, Kane, Son, even Fernandes did quite well. Lots of players to choose from and lots of big hitters as well. And I've seen people maybe looking to use Andy Robertson as a way to get money out of their defence to put it into attack. And I'm not saying it's the wrong choice, but I'm trying to figure out how I can get a Liverpool fullback into my team. And obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold is back now as well, so he's a consideration. They're actually the same price. Trent has dropped that much and Robertson's increased in value. They're both now 7.2 million. And so I'm selling the likes of Kane, for example, to fund Salah, and people are looking to try and keep him in, and to get the other big hitters, they're looking to sell players like Robertson. So it's an interesting time. There isn't really a right or a wrong, and we're probably going to have weeks like this where some people get a massive score, then the next week some other people get even bigger scores again, and the ranks just fluctuate quite a lot. And the Liverpool defence, right, we talked a lot about it this year because obviously there's been some big injuries, but it is still a very solid defence. Even without Trent Alexander-Arnold there, it's been good. Even without Alisson there, it's been good. Queeveen Kelleher has been brilliant in goal. It's only a small sample size, but he's done exactly what's been required or needed of him. Robertson's been fit. Matip and Fabinho are a really good centre-back partnership, probably one of the best in the league. And they haven't even got their 2 first-choice centre-backs in Gomez and Van Dijk. And obviously with Trent back now, that back four starts to look really good. And Alisson should be back soon as well. So rather than looking at how to not cover the Liverpool defence, I definitely want to look to see if I can bring one in at some point. And the fixtures are just so good, right? Fulham away, Spurs at home, Palace away, West Brom at home. That's the next 4. Newcastle away, Southampton away, and Burnley at home. There's only one fixture there where I might not think there's a clean sheet happening, and that's Spurs. Every other game, I could foresee a clean sheet. Now, you can turn around and make counter arguments, and I'd be all for it. Fulham are starting to play a little bit better. Palace have got Zaha, he's been good. I mean, there's nothing to say about West Brom. Newcastle, Callum Wilson, Southampton, Danny Ings should be back by then, etc., etc. But these are still really good fixtures on paper. I think to overthink this and say they're not going to get many clean sheets would be absolutely crazy, right? And they still offer good value, but one of the reasons why people are taking them out and putting, again, money into attack is you've got even like players like Reguilon and Dyer at Spurs, 4 clean sheets in a row. Chilwell looks really good. He's less than the Liverpool boys. Reece James even cheaper than Chilwell. He's still only 5.2 million. Absolutely ridiculous. Diaz, again, cheaper than Liverpool players with really good clean sheets. So in terms of those clean sheets, I think a lot of the players that I've just spoken about could get the same or even potentially more, in some cases less in others, as Liverpool, but around the same ballpark. So then you're looking at the attacking returns. And I do think probably Robertson and Trent are still slightly ahead of the rest, but Chilwell and Reece James will probably have something to say about that over the rest of this season. So I think they look really good. When Trent came back on the pitch, like which one to go for out of Trent and Robertson's close still. When Trent made his appearance against Wolves, he came on and he virtually, not straight away, but very soon after he came on, he put that great ball across that put Wolves in trouble, and ultimately Semedo scored an own goal. What a ball it was, like a reminder of how good he is. But this season, with him sharing some set pieces with Robertson, and Robertson basically playing like a left forward a lot of the time for Liverpool, and he's going to be doing that against these easier teams as well. He's so far up the pitch, closer to goal. He probably would be the one I would bring in right now, but I would not, and it's the same for a lot of players right now, I would not be surprised if we recorded the points from this game week for the rest of the season, if they played a similar amount of minutes, so barring injuries and stuff, that their scores wouldn't be extremely similar. I don't think it's a right or a wrong to go Robertson or Trent, but just given how Robertson's played, I think he stepped up a bit, whereas Trent hasn't got worse. Obviously, his standards are always very high, but Robertson has pushed on that a little bit more, I think, to get up to kind of Trent's level in terms of attacking returns. And let's be honest, they were both very similar last year as well. But Robertson getting closer to goal, I just feel like there's more chance of a goal, and assist-wise, it's very similar anyway. So he'd be the one I go for. And like I said, trying to figure out how to fit him in right now, not necessarily, or I wouldn't necessarily be looking to take him out. So I've had half an eye on Sterling for a little while now anyway, and I've kind of talked about him before, but I wanted to mention him again now that we've just seen that Fulham game, and I know a lot of people were waiting for that little bit of form from Sterling before looking to bring him in. And I did have a plan a few weeks ago to have both De Bruyne and Sterling for this run of fixtures, which, if every other premium hitter hadn't done really well this week, I would be a bit annoyed I didn't go for it. But luckily, Son and Salah also did really well this week. But obviously, in another week, it could be that De Bruyne and Sterling are massively ahead of the others, especially with the fixtures they got coming up. We've spoken about it so many times. And I'm not interested in Sterling for game week 12. I think he'll not struggle against Wan-Bissaka, but it's going to be a tough game. It is going to be a tough game for United. It's going to be a tough game for City. Let's see how it goes. I know a lot of people will still think Man City will smash Man United, but last year Oli got the better of Pep in the league a couple of times. So this could be a tight game. The only issue with bringing him in right now, for me, is it's at the expense of another premium hitter. And for my team, or a premium big hitter, for my team, that is Bruno Fernandes. So if you compare the fixtures, right, Sterling's got West Brom, Southampton, Newcastle. That is a pretty good fixture run after Man United. The Newcastle game and West Brom games in particular. Southampton's not necessarily easy, but we've just seen Man United put 3 past them. No reason that Man City could not do the same as what United have done. You look at Bruno Fernandes in the same time, and I'm not looking at the Game Week 12 fixture because I don't particularly want either of them for that game week. For Game Week 13 onwards, for the next 3, so matching West Brom, Southampton, Newcastle, Fernandes has Sheffield United away, Leeds at home, and Leicester away. Now, on paper, you look at them, Man City definitely have the easier fixtures from Game Week 13 to 15. I don't think there's too much argument about that. But Man United is probably not as bad as they look on paper, right? Sheffield United away, not kept a clean sheet yet. Don't tend to concede too many goals, but still, no clean sheet. If Man United score, Bruno Fernandes is usually involved. Leeds at home, I still think the Leeds defence is quite good. And on this day, they're going to give a big team a tough ride like they did with Man City. But in that game, Man City could have scored a lot early on. Chelsea have just scored a bunch past them as well. No reason that Man United couldn't do that. Leeds is going to be a tough game. But again, on their day, they can put a good few goals past Leeds. And then Leicester away, again, a team that's not really keeping many clean sheets. Although on their day, again, that is a good defence, and a lot of it is going to depend on how many players they've got back fit. So it's not a bad set of fixtures. I certainly wouldn't be put off having Bruno Fernandes for those games. But Sterling's fixtures are better. So that's one thing to consider. But of course, over Christmas, could I see Sterling getting rotated with Torres at times? Potentially. Whereas Bruno Fernandes, I know he didn't start against West Ham, but I think, although Ollie was saying that was a sore foot, that was all Champions League for me. I don't think there was a sore foot at all. The Champions League was what mattered because we need to get a point or a win there to go through. But over Christmas, there's going to be no Champions League. So Bruno's going to probably start every single game and maybe is a little bit of a better long-term hold than Sterling. But if you want to go through with it, up until about Game Week 22, City's fixtures are really good. And again, sometimes in the short term, you're going to get game weeks like this, right? Next time, let's say Game Week 13 or Game Week 14, right? Sterling plays Southampton away. Bruno Fernandes plays Leeds at home. That game week, Bruno Fernandes could win. But from Game Week 13 to 22, if they both play similar minutes, I think a bit like Robertson and Trent, I think the points will be very close. And Man City's fixtures are slightly better. So I do think it's worth looking at that. And then Fulham, we've always saying, or we've said for the last few weeks, right, we want to see Sterling get hit a bit of form. He had 4 shots, all inside the box, 0.99 expected goals for that Fulham game, which is really good for a one-game sample, and he has got the fixtures to continue this form. The fact that he scored is going to please Pep. Pep scored a lot, or talked a lot about players having to score to keep their place in the side. Sterling's now done that. He did miss some chances, right? He could have had a hat-trick or maybe even 4 goals in that game, but he still came away with a really good score, and no reason why he won't do it over those fixtures. So he's firmly on the watch list. In all reality, I'll probably bring Bruno Fernandes in first, but who knows? In a couple of game weeks' time, the whole scenario or scene of FPL might change again, right? Everyone was mad on Jota. Now he's been benched. What if he plays Champions League, then gets benched against Fulham? Suddenly we rethink. So things change quickly, and Sterling, I'm definitely keeping an eye on. How does this man do it, right? He is always a consideration for our teams at some point through the season, right? Olivier Giroud. And I got to be honest, right, even after 4 goals in the Champions League, I was a little bit surprised to see him start against Leeds. And I will say, shout out to all the Chelsea fans in the Thursday stream who said he will definitely start. There was a few that said he wouldn't, but a lot of you were very confident that he would. And look, a player scores 4 goals. It's hard to keep them out of the team, but we know the quality and depth that Chelsea have, which is why I was a little bit surprised. So I don't think Tammy Abraham's really done that badly. And he's repaid Frank Lampard's faith in him, 4 goals, and he goes and scores against Leeds. And to be fair, if it wasn't for Timo Werner, he probably would have had another goal as well. And the stats were so good from that game. He created 3 chances, 6 shots, 5 of them in the box. And we know how good Giroud is, right? He's still one of the weirdest situations with him where when he was at Arsenal, when he's here, he just doesn't get played week in, week out, whatever that is. I don't even think it's a fitness issue, but for some reason, multiple managers have done this with him now, but perhaps this is when he gets a little bit of a run in the side. Now, fixtures-wise, again, I've talked about Chelsea fixtures quite a lot. On paper, they don't look that fantastic, but I think there's potentially reasons to maybe look at their attacking assets. One, of course, is Chelsea are one of the best attacking sides in the league, so that's worth considering. Everton away. Everton can't stop conceding goals, right? Don't see a clean sheet here. Wolves away is an interesting one because usually I wouldn't want to target a team against Wolves, but they've moved to a back four. Liverpool were able to get at them. I think Chelsea could do something similar as well. West Ham at home, Arsenal away. Arsenal keep conceding as well. And Villa at home is another good fixture. So the next 5 are okay. They're not awful. And obviously he's a cheap player. He's 6.7 million. And I'm at a point now where I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, to be completely honest. I'm not worrying about it for Game Week 12. I'll worry about it for Game Week 13. But one thing I am doing is taking money out of my front line to put it into midfield. Now, obviously, that means I don't have the likes of Harry Kane, but I think that's okay given the midfielders that I've got in my team right now. Maybe that will change later on. And so having cheap forwards is something I want to do. Now, I've got Bamford, I've got Watkins, and I potentially need a third one. Right now, I've got Calvert-Lewin, but I could change him at some point. Antonio is not fully fit at the moment. Callum Wilson might not have trained for a couple of weeks by the time Newcastle actually get another game. There's potentially calls for the West Brom game to be postponed as well. So he's not really an option right now. Che Adams potentially. I don't like the thoughts of Welbeck or Mitrovic, who's been dropped anyway. So Giroud potentially an option. Now, the only thing to mention is, of course, the crazy amount of rotation there could be at Chelsea, right? Their squad depth is so good, right? It's probably one of the best in the league right now. But Frank Lampard doesn't really actually change his team that much when it's working. We saw that last year, and we've pretty much seen it this year. If the players are performing, they get to keep their place. One thing I think might work out well for him, Giroud this is that Ziyech has just got injured. Now, we don't know if he's definitely out for Game Week 12, but one of the things I've been thinking about is Werner playing left. Where does Pulisic fit in? Well, now, with Giroud being that target man, playing balls off to the wingers, why not have Pulisic, Giroud and Werner on the right? And you can play there as well. And that's a pretty devastating front three. So this is definitely something that I need to keep an eye on. I don't think I can jump straight into going for Giroud. But if Lampard sticks with not changing his team around too much and he doesn't go to like a Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech type front three, then it's Giroud or Tammy Abraham. And if Giroud is firing, then he might not lose his place for a while. There will be games, I'm sure, where he'll miss out, like anyone, over Christmas. But if he gets a little run now, he could be one to keep an eye on. So not going to bring him straight in. But again, like everyone on this list, he's definitely someone worth monitoring. And for less than 7 million in that Chelsea side, which scores so many goals, he could be a bargain. So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below about the players I've picked out. Are you looking to buy them, sell them? Should we be ignoring them? What do you think of Giroud? Robertson, I'm sure there's a lot of you that own him that are maybe thinking of pushing him on and getting rid of him to someone cheaper to put more money in tax. So let me know below. Hit a like on the video if you have enjoyed it, and please do subscribe if you're new around here as well, and hit that notification bell because there will be so many videos coming for the rest of the season. You are not going to want to miss out. I'll also do a quick shout out to Patreon, so if anyone wants to support me and the channel any further, I do have a Patreon set up, patreon.com/letstalkfpl. Link to that is in the description below. There's Slack access, WhatsApp access, there's extra content in the form of Q&As that go over there, kind of short form Q&As. Loads of stuff to check out on the different tiers, so make sure you click that link in the description below. And everyone that signs up goes on the Legends Wall as well, so if anyone does sign up, they'll obviously be shouted out on the next video, such as Andy R, Johan, and Amna AB. I think I've got all them names right. So thank you very much for signing up since the last stream as well. So that's it for this one. Give it a like, hit that subscription button. Why not? You're watching the content. Hopefully you're enjoying it and you want to see more. So hit that button, and I'll be back tomorrow for my team selection video before the game week preview on Wednesday. So plenty of stuff to come, and I'll catch you again soon.